Well, good evening, everybody. Slightly delayed start there. Looked like it was freezing my end, but hopefully we are up and running. It is Wednesday, the 10th of June. It's 7 o'clock here in the UK, and this is yet another of our weekly Dream Whiskies live broadcasts. Hope you are all well. Hope everything is good. Let's see what we have lined up for you this evening. So, as ever, we're going to start in a moment with our announcements of last week's winners. We have, as ever, 3 cocktails for you this evening, including obviously our Mix With Me cocktail that we've got coming up towards the end of our broadcast, and I'll run through the ingredients for that shortly. We have a special sort of spot prize this evening, slightly different because we've had something donated by Master of Malt, and I'm putting that up for grabs for you lot as well. We obviously got our Whiskey Geek of the Week competition. I don't know if I already mentioned that actually. And what else? Yeah, lots of good fun and whiskey related stuff. And of course, as ever, we start with a little drink and a little toast. And let me know what you've got in your glass this evening so that we can toast together. Let's see who's with us. Marie Hickey, hi, how are you doing? Kevin, good to see you. Jeff, good to see you too. Paul Slade, good to see you. Hi, looking casual tonight, says Cheryl. And yes, indeed, I am looking casual. So none of the sort of light shirts and everything, mainly because the sun has decided to disappear and suddenly we've gone from everything being really warm and hot. I think I was even dripping last week. I was so hot to everything being a bit cold here. So I've got my hoodie on, my sort of winter hoodie. But that's British weather for you, isn't it? Gary, good to see you. How you doing? Michael Nolan, good to see you. Kieran, Bruce, what's going on, Bruce? Hi, Paul, Cheryl, Alfie, and Dream Whiskies members and guests. Bruce covering every base there. David Rose, good to see you. Simon Walker, Adrian Bain, hi, how you doing? Hi, everyone. Bruce is saying we haven't heard from the guy in the corner for a while. Should we post a bulletin? Well, that's the thing about the guy in the corner. He sits in the corner real quiet. Before you know it, you sort of just walking past him without even saying hello. You got a 50ml Crown Royal Black with 15ml each of mango mix and triple sec on ice with a splash of blood orange bitters. Bruce is going hardcore mixology before we've even started tonight. Paul, what's going on? Paul Musson, still working your way through the McMyra collection. Sounds like a good thing to be doing. Michael's got another Ardbeg on the go. I've got an Ardbeg actually. I've got an Ardbeg 10, so the sort of standard release, I guess, in my glass, but a beautiful drop nevertheless. Gary's got a Baines. Is that the South African one, Gary? Is that what you mean, the Baines? Kathleen, hi, how you doing? Mark Cole, good to see you. I'm going to have an Aaron. What's that? Aaron Macri Moore. I'm not sure that I know that well. I don't even know if I pronounced that one correctly, but sounds good. Jane's saying that the man in the corner is fine. Think his wife forgot to water him. Got to take responsibility. And Barry Bullock, not here again. Good. So look, cheers to you all. Thank you for joining us. Loads of stuff to go through this evening. Sort of exciting evening this evening. Very nice. Look, let me show you this before we even get started. So I was contacted by the guys at Master of Malt, who, if you are whiskey lovers and you buy whiskey online a lot, you almost certainly know Master of Malt. Maybe not so much outside the UK, obviously, but in the UK you should know these guys. And what they've sent me here is a Father's Day, let me put it like that, Father's Day whiskey tasting set with 5 different whiskey tasters in here. What I'm going to do is going to introduce this to you as we go through this evening, as we go through our broadcast, tell you a little bit about each one, and then at the end you will have a chance to enter and win this prize. Really good prize. Let me just see here. Let's take that off. Let's open that up, and we'll just sort of get that ready to go. So I'm going to put it on the side, but let's put that there. What else have we got? Loads of people talking to us. Kieran's got a French oak on the go. A Jura French oak, liking that one. Got a dram of Epicurean ready, says Matt. Karim, sheep dip. Amoroso Oloroso, 1999. That sounds pretty cool. Not easy to say. What's this? We got a STE Prescott. Is that Stu Prescott? Anyway, an Abalawa Abuna. And Bruce is saying, is that a dog or a whiskey? Talking about which one? Replying to Jane. Okay, not quite sure what you're replying to there, but let's start by announcing the winners for last week's competition. So as you know, our weekly members whiskey giveaway competition always finishes at Tuesday night midnight, which was last night. Obviously, our current competition is now running, up and running and on the go. But I'm really pleased to say, and hold on to your hats, because I think this person is online now with us. But I'm really pleased to say that the winner of last week's whiskey competition is a two-time, not winner, but two-time whiskey geek of the week, Michael Nolan. Michael Nolan, congratulations, you won the whiskey competition. Michael, I'll be sending you a message tomorrow. We'll sort out what your prize is going to be. But well done, many congratulations. What's this? Is that prize for everyone? No, as ever, you know how it works with the prizes on Dream Whiskey. If you're a member, you play for the prizes. And if you're not, you play for the Whiskey Geek of the Week and all the rest of the stuff. But, you know, the prizes go to the members. That's how it works. Kat Jameson, you won our spot prize. I don't think Kat's on here. I've never seen her actually on the broadcast, but she's one of our members. And she won our spot prize for last week. And I seem to remember that the spot prize for last week was this. So this Glenfiddich tasting set. If you're there, say hi, Kat. But Kat Jameson's won that, and I'll be in touch with you tomorrow. I'm assuming Kat stands for Catherine. So congratulations, Catherine, unless it stands for cat, like in Red Dwarf and the cat. But hey, there you go. So those are our winners. Michael, are you there? Yes, he's there. I can see him saying whoopee and all sorts of stuff. So if you don't know, he's in the thread. He's under already Richard Webster as opposed to Michael. And he did explain why at some point, but very confusing. So we just call him Michael. So congratulations to you. Let's see what we got. All right, so what I'm going to start with is I'm going to show you the first of the 5 whiskies that are in this set. And it's a pretty cool set, actually. And by the way, there's a deal on the go. So only one of you can win this. But if you're looking for an amazing gift, and by the way, I don't get anything out of this. So I'm not trying to sort of punt this and make some cash for myself out of it. But if you want to get a set like this for someone for Father's Day, it's normally £26.95, and right now Master of Malt have got it on for £19.95, and I've put a link in the description. So if you want to check it out, go and have a look, and you can. But not now. Don't disappear now. It's still going to be there at the end of the broadcast. So what you have is 5 tasters. Each one of these tasters is 3 cl or 30 ml. So more than a British shot. So if you went into a bar and said, right, I want a shot of that whiskey, it wouldn't be as much as you get in each bottle of these. And then we've got this. So the first one is a Scallywag blended malt Scotch whiskey. So each one comes with a little card like this, which has things like a nose, palate, and finish in terms of tasting and experiencing notes. And then on the back, for proper whiskey geeks of the week, there's a space here for you to write your own notes about the nose, palate, and finish as well. And the Scallywag blended malt, I'm just going to pick out a couple of things. It says, sweetness jumps up like an excited puppy. I'm not going to tell you any more, because if you win it, you can read it yourself. So let's pop that one back in there. Let's get the set back over here, and I'll tell you some more about the next whiskey as we go through. By the way, the question to enter to try and win that set comes up at the end, because that's what we do. We put it at the end, and it means you have to stay and listen to me talking for ages, really. Kaz Bridges, hi all, how are you doing? Congrats, Kat, from David Rose. Gary, hard one, great choice though. Talking to Michael, our winner, and Matt saying bargain, and you're right, it is a bargain. So before we get into our first cocktail this evening, we're going to do our weekly Whiskey Geek of the Week competition. It's starting to prove to be really quite an interesting competition. People want to be our Whiskey Geek of the Week. We've got a whole gallery going on our website of all our previous Whiskey Geeks of the Week, including Michael Nolan, who's won twice. And we also have a sort of slot on the Facebook page where we put you up for a week so that people can see that you won it for the last week. So you need a pen and paper. I ask you 12 questions throughout the broadcast, 3, then 3, then 3 at different stages, and we're going to start with the first three. Now, it looks like things have started to really take hold with this little anagram round that we do right at the beginning. So the first three questions, as the last few weeks, are going to be anagrams. So I'm going to give you words, and they are anagrams of famous whiskies or whiskey distilleries. You've got to work out what those are. Who else is there? Scallywag Whisky. Yeah, who would have known? Michael's saying, I've had one of these as a present. It's a great tasting trip. They're fantastic, actually, those Master and Malt tasting things. They're amazing. And Cheryl's saying hi to Joanna. Joanna, are you there? Hi, how are you? My sister-in-law, how are you? All right, how are we doing? So, question one of the Whiskey Geek of the Week. You need a pen. By the way, if you've not done Whiskey Geek of the Week before, the idea is you answer all the questions throughout our broadcast. You then mark yourself at the end, and then you give an honest score at the end. You get the best score, you're our Whiskey Geek of the Week. If it's a tie break, I got a tie break question as well. So hang in there and play and have some fun. All right, here we go. Question number one. The words merging alone. Okay, merging alone. Anagram of which whiskey? So merging is M-E-R-G-I-N-G, and then alone, A-L-O-N-E. God, I couldn't spell it there for a second. Merging alone, anagram of which whiskey? That is question number one. What else we got going on there? Chat still stuff. Question number two, here we go. Anglo Drench. Anglo Drench. So that's A-N-G-L-O, Anglo, and then Drench, D-R-E-N-C-H. Anglo Drench is which whiskey? Anagram of which whiskey? You good at anagrams? I think it helps if you've got a good knowledge of whiskey, which you will have if you are going to become our Whiskey Geek of the Week. And question three, ferret's drool. Ferret's drool. That's F-E-R-R-E-T-S, and then drool, D-R-O-O-L. So ferret's drool is an anagram of which whiskey? So that's question 1, 2, and 3. Work on those. You don't have to do them now. You can work on them as we go through the broadcast. We're going to go into our first cocktail of this evening, which is interestingly been renamed by my wife, but fortunately I remember what it is. And it's a cocktail that I've called a Sidewinder. And I've called it a Sidewinder because it's a version of one of my favorite cocktails of all time. So one of my favorite cocktails of all time is a sidecar. And the sidecar is made with cognac. This is made with whiskey, of course, so I've called it a Sidewinder. Let me put that to the side, and let's get our first cocktail of the evening on the go. By the way, cheers. What else have we got going on here? Oh, Cheryl's putting down. So Cheryl's putting down the various different anagrams so that you can work it out if you weren't quite sure of the spelling. So good job. Thank you very much for that. Cheers to you all. So our first cocktail is going to go into a martini glass, and we take our shaker and we start so. We're going to take our whiskey. Oh, by the way, in here tonight, can you tell from the colour? I've got an Old Forester bourbon in here tonight. This is an 86 proof Old Forester, and 43% in UK money. Tell you what, it's a cracking whiskey. It's absolutely gorgeous. Anyway, we're going to use this as our base for our cocktails this evening, and I'm going to start with this Sidewinder by putting in 40, that's 40 ml of our whiskey. There we go. That's good. Then I'm going to add some triple sec. So triple sec is a curacao. It's a white curacao. There we go. Voila. Brand names that you might know is Cointreau, for example, is the obvious one. Cointreau is a kind of triple sec. But Grand Marnier is a sort of a triple sec as well. It's more like an orange curacao, I guess, than a triple sec. But they're all the same thing. And we're going to put in triple sec, and I'm going to add 30 ml of the triple sec. So there we go. Up to there, 30 ml, very nice. And in it goes. Now, the original sidecar is then mixed with lemon juice. But for this one, I rather like a combination of two types of citrus juice. So I'm going to be doing half lemon and half lime. So I'm going to start with our lime. I'm taking half a lime here and I'm going to squeeze the juice of that half a lime in with our whiskey and triple sec. So let's drop that there. Good. By the way, I have been making an absolute ton of cocktails on this bar over the last couple of weeks. I'm doing a lot of filming, a lot of courses, a lot of online cocktail mixology courses and filming all sorts of videos for that. I feel like I've been standing here talking to a camera. It can actually, for weeks, it can actually turn you a bit stir crazy. Am I starting to look a little bit crazy? What's going on here? Marie Hickey's put it in as well. Sidewinder was a guided missile, says Paul Slade. It was indeed. It was indeed. So it's going to pack a punch, right? Absolutely. And now I'm putting in half of our lemon. So I've got half of a lime, half of a lemon. Let's pop that down there. Obviously the triple sec. And of course we've got our whiskey in there. And now I'm going to add some ice. So let's get a good scoop of ice into our shaker. Let's pour that in with the ice. Close it up and give it a good shake. Here we go. All right. That's looking good. That's nicely done. I'm going to take my strainer and we're going to strain that into our glass. Looks great actually. I mean, it really does replicate the colour of a sidecar. Loving this drink. And I'm hoping that it's sour enough. For those of you that are regulars and you know that somebody sort of sneaks in and often steals the drinks off the bar, I'm hoping that this is sour enough, and of course she knows what a sidecar tastes like, that she might just leave this one alone and let me drink that myself. But anyway, there we go. So that is our cocktail number one for this evening. Let me pop that over there. And that is our Sidewinder. I'm actually going to have a little taste of that just to check that it's good. Oh, it's absolutely gorgeous. If you like sour style cocktails, then this one really, and Sidecar originally, and this one, absolutely perfect for you, perfect. All right, good. So that is cocktail number one, done. Who else is talking to us? See what's going on here. Hi, there's a little conversation going on between people that are not talking to me. Bruce saying, I love your bar top. Is it a sword log? And what type of wood? Yes, well, it's a sword tree. And it is olive ash, I seem to remember. Cheryl will tell me if I've got that wrong, but I think it is olive ash. Absolutely fabulous. Love it, actually. Really love it. Good evening, Carl. Good to see you. Joe, sorry I'm late. Listen, Joe, you don't have to be sorry that you're late. You're here, which is great. Really pleased to see you. Cheryl saying that's got your name on it. You're welcome. That's me. Good. I can keep that one and snag that one. Hand to Cheryl. No, she's not going to come in for that one, Bruce. It's too sour for her. Right. Before we go any further, let's show you a second whiskey in the Master of Malt Father's Day collection. So the next one here, this is another one that really I'm not familiar with, which in a way makes it exciting. I mean, I like whiskies that I know. And I like whiskies that I'm familiar with because you know that you're going to enjoy them. But you know, even more exciting if you're not familiar with them. And I think that's what probably makes such a great present. So this one is an Aerolite Lindsay 10-year-old, the character of Isla Whiskey Company. Wow, that sounds pretty cool. So just a tiny little bit of this because I don't want to give too much of this away. So I'm going to give you something on the palate. Smoke returns alongside mint dark chocolate. Wow, that's just the first few words. I'm not going to tell you any more because the deal is you win it, you read it yourself. And actually, you don't win it, go and buy one for your dad for Father's Day. By the way, so Father's Day I think is the 21st in the UK. Is it the same in the US? Somebody over there tell me, is it the same? Is it the 21st Father's Day over there? It'd be good to know. All right, so let's get into the second part of our Whiskey Geek of the Week quiz. We've had questions 1, 2, and 3, and they were anagrams. Now we're going to get into actual questions, about the whiskey. And the next 3 are linked to cocktails, and in particular, they are linked to the Manhattan cocktail. So question number 4. Get your pen and paper ready again. Question number 4. I'd like to know, apart from whiskey and sweet vermouth, what else goes into a Manhattan cocktail? Right, and I don't mean the cherry. So we know it has a cherry, but I don't mean that. So apart from whiskey and sweet vermouth, what else goes into a Manhattan cocktail? Matt's saying sounds delicious. Which one? What are you talking about, Matt? Are you talking about this, or are you talking about the whiskey from the taster? I think you're talking about the whiskey from the taster box. Bob saying yes, Father's Day in the US. Bruce is saying yes, Father's Day. And Keith is saying howdy. Howdy back to you, Keith. Good to see you. Question number 5. I'd like to know another Manhattan whiskey, a Manhattan cocktail question. Here we go. I'd like to know, if you substitute Scotch whiskey for American whiskey in a Manhattan cocktail, what new cocktail do you have? All right. So if you take the American whiskey out, you put Scotch whiskey in, you make the same drink as you would have done if you were making a Manhattan. What is it now called? That's question 5. What else have we got? Oh, Matt's saying, yeah, the taster. Yeah, definitely. Definitely. Sounds great. Actually, I read the whole thing. Sounds amazing. Right, okay. I've just spotted something else that my wife has written on here. Okay, question number 6. Question number 6. So the Manhattan cocktail was reputedly invented at a party held at the Manhattan Club in New York and was hosted by Jenny Jerome. So Jenny Jerome was also the a mother of a very famous Brit. Okay, so who was she the mother of? So the Manhattan was apparently invented at the Manhattan Club to commemorate something that was going on at a party hosted by a lady called Jenny Jerome. But Jenny Jerome was the mother of a very famous British person. Who was that British person? That was question number 6. All right, we're going to move on to our second cocktail for this evening. Phil Cummins, greetings to you. The cocktail looks delightful as well. Well, thank you very much, Matt. What's going on here, Paul? Never mind my dad, I might be treating myself. Well, that's the problem, isn't it? Right, if you win this, do you send it to your dad? Or do you just send your dad a photograph and say, I won this, I was going to give it to you, but hey, I'm a dad myself, so I'm going to give it. Or even if you're not a dad yourself, maybe you might be a dad one day. So anyway, look, at this stage, I was going to do a cocktail for you called a whiskey bramble. So a bramble is a cocktail that is a gin-based cocktail. It's a cocktail that's actually invented by an old friend of mine. He's no longer with us, sadly, but to actually invent a cocktail in the last sort of 25, 30 years that becomes a global icon, it becomes recognized wherever you go in cocktail bars around the world, is an amazing achievement. And Dick Bradshaw was his name, and Dick invented the bramble. And I was going to make a whiskey version of that, but in actual fact, I've had a sort of change of heart this evening, so I'm going to move the whiskey bramble on to next week. And this week, instead, I'm going to mix something that is using this ingredient. So this, ladies and gentlemen, let me get it out of the light so you can see it. Can you see that now? That's better. This is Coco Lopez coconut cream, or as it says in here, cream of coconut. Now this is entirely different to any kind of coconut cream or coconut milk that you buy in a can that you might use in Thai curry or any other kind of cuisine. This is specifically developed and devised for one reason only, and that reason is the pina colada. If you make a pina colada with any other kind of coconut, it is never anywhere near as good. You have to use Coco Lopez, and it's actually really quite expensive. You know, in the UK, it costs about £4 or £5 to get a can like this, which is crazy. But this is what they use in Puerto Rico. And this is what you should use to make now. I've got this because I've been doing these videos that I told you about, and I've been making pina coladas and all sorts of other drinks, really. But I've got more of this than I needed for the videos, and I thought, well, maybe I should use this in a cocktail tonight. Actually, Cheryl did. Cheryl said to me, look, you've got a load of this stuff. Why don't you use it in a cocktail this evening? And that is what we're going to do now. Before I do, What else are you guys talking about? Phil, greetings. I think we've already got a Mystery Isle Dram. Any points if you know what the anagram of Aerolite Lindsay is? Well, no points, David. But hey, have you got anything? And Cheryl saying, and it's absolutely bloody delicious. Talking about this, the Coco Lopez. So I'm going to make a whiskey-based cocktail which has all of its influences in the pina colada, but has another flavor added to it as well. And ordinarily you would blend any kind of pina colada to get it true to the Puerto Rican way of doing it. But I'm going to shake this. And we're going to take our shaker and we're going to start to add our ingredients. So let's start with the thing that we know is going in here, because we're Dream Whiskey, which means that everything that we do is about whiskey. What's going on there? Oh, okay. A picture of something. I'm not sure what it is. Maybe it hasn't come up properly on my screen. So I'm going to put in 45 ml. Actually, you know what? I'm going to go up to 50. So I'm going to put in 50 ml of our whiskey. Let's put that there. That's good. Actually, I just realized that this is sitting here doing nothing. Cheryl hasn't taken it, so I will have a little sip. Cool. Next thing we're going to do is we are going to add our Coco Lopez. And you don't go sparing on this. So it's not a question of putting in... Oh, by the way, I didn't even show you what it looks like here. If you have a look, it's very different to a coconut milk. It's like a paste, I guess. It's very sweet. It's really creamy. It blends up amazingly well and intense coconut flavor. But that, by the way, is not enough. Okay, if you want to really get the flavor, you need a good old spoonful like this. Here we go. So let me just drop that in to our whiskey. That looks good. Let's pop that down there. Now I'm going to add pineapple juice. Pineapple juice obviously would come out of a pina colada, but it goes really well not just with the Coco Lopez, but also with our whiskey. So let's get our pina colada. Pina colada's on the brain. Let's get our pineapple juice. And I'm going to put 75 ml of pineapple juice. So there's 50 and then another 25. And then I'm going to add one final ingredient, which just makes this depart a little bit further from that pina colada. And where is it? And I've got this. This is creme de banane liqueur, or in English, banana liqueur. Really fragrant, wonderful banana aroma. And I'm going to put 25 ml of that in there as well. There we go. Let's put that in. Wonderful. So like I say, ordinarily with these sort of drinks, you put in some crushed ice into a blender and you would whiz it up, but you can shake it, which of course is what I'm going to do now. So I'm going to get this little goblet ready. I'm going to take my can and get some ice in there. Get some ice in, lots of ice, and then let's tip that into there. And we're going to give it quite a good shake. So here we go. All right, looking good. And one of the maybe surprising things that comes out of using the Coco Lopez is that it looks kind of greyish when it's in the can, but when it comes out, it's sort of white and creamy and delicious. Look at that. How gorgeous does that look? If you are on any kind of diet right now, look away. Look away, because just looking at this cocktail will pile on the pounds. But it will also have a full frontal assault on your taste buds. It will make you want to drink this night and day. Wow, gorgeous. I'm going to give it a little bit of a garnish. You know, I don't often really put garnishes in our cocktails here, but I'm just going to go for a small wedge of pineapple. Let's put that on the side like so. Makes it look a little bit more Puerto Rican, Caribbean, and there you go. So this is our, I don't even know what to call it now. I've made it, but I don't know. It's another one of those times when I say to you, I haven't thought about the name of this drink. What do you reckon? What would you call it? I mean, I wouldn't want to call it a whiskey pina colada because it's got banana in it anyway. What would you call this? What's going on there? Cheryl's going, oh my God, banana. Raymond Hunter saying exactly, David Rose. What was that? Wonder what that was about. Gary, where would you buy that, Paul? The coconut paste. Well, look, Gary, I know where you are. You're sort of British Isles, so I think the best place to try and pick it up is Amazon. Amazon's a bit pricey, I have to say, but you can get it off of Amazon. Otherwise, Google it and just find the best price that you can. There's a number of people who supply it. It's just really pricey over here, unfortunately. Just need a cherry on the top. Okay, let's put a cherry on the top. We know what's going to happen, don't we? Someone's going to jump in here and steal this one. This one's definitely destined to go. That might even sit there. No, cherry, not on the top. Cherry is on the bottom now. Let's pop that over here in front of my sidewinder like that. Simi's with us. Hi, Simi. Yummy-o. That's a nice entrance, actually. How you doing, Simi? Good to see you. Thanks, Dave. One of those drinks that reminds you of summer holidays. That is for sure. Paul, it's an anagram. Oh, you're talking about the anagram. Right, okay. I'll come back to that anagram. So that's cocktail number 2. And I've just got, if I could look into the future and imagine what might happen, would you consider me to be some kind of wise sage? Would you imagine me to have some kind of foresight? Or do you all know what's going to happen? Yeah. Of course we know what's going to happen. That's gone. Right, okay, so that's 2 cocktails down. The next cocktail that we're going to come to shortly is obviously going to be our Mix With Me cocktail. And I'm going to, okay. Right. I just realised how silly that looks there. Okay. Right, what we got here? Look in Asian supermarkets for the coconut cream, says Simon Walker. Yeah, good job. Actually, is that true? Because I know in Asian supermarkets, they have all sorts of coconut cream, but not this. And the stuff you find in Asian cookery is not this. But thanks for that, Simon. If you can actually get the Coca Lopez there, amazing. Simi, what are you saying? Sorry, watching silently during dinner. Well done. Sneaky little watch. I like that. All right. Third whiskey in the box. Let's show you the third whiskey in the box. Third whiskey in the box. Remember, one of you guys, one of our Dream Whiskies members, is going to win this little Father's Day set. The next whiskey in the box is from the Lakes Distillery. And this is from The One. So The One is a sherry expression. Now, I'm going to give you finish, right? Little finish notes. Lasting vanilla and sandalwood. Like I say, just a little taster. Just a little tempter. I'm not going to give you any more information than that because you got to win this and you have got to try it yourself. And if you don't win it, which means most of you, because only one of you is actually going to win it, then you can buy it from Master & Malt. I put the link in the description. On a bit of a huge discount at the moment, you can pick up the whole box for £19.95. All right. We're up to question 7 of our Whiskey Geek of the Week. Oh, someone's come in with a name. Matt, what do you reckon? A Scotch Cocoa. Not bad, not bad. Liking that. Cheryl, we could call it a Wiener Colada. Where did you get that from? Can anyone do better than Wiener Colada? Raymond talking about the Lakes whiskey in there is delicious. Yeah, absolutely. Their whiskies are cracking, aren't they? At the Lakes. Bruce is saying a Banana Loco. I know there's a Coca Loco, right? So there's a vodka-based drink called a Coca Loco. Banana Loco, liking that. Matt's saying whisked creme. God, you know what? I often find, and I've said this to you before, I reckon, that trying to name a cocktail is often more difficult than inventing the recipe itself. I really struggle to come up with names. It's quite good putting it out to you guys because you come up with a whole load of ideas for it. We'll pick something. But keep chucking them in as well. All right, so question 7 for our Whiskey Geek of the Week competition. Question 7 is this. So we're getting into the actual whiskey now. Let's see how geeky you are. Question 7 is, what is the predominant grain used in the production of Scotch whisky? So with Scotch whisky, we use a variety of grains. I say we, it's not like I'm making it myself, but they use a variety of grains, but the most predominant one is what? So what is the most predominant grain used in the production of Scotch whisky? Question 8. Question 8 is this. laughing, right? More sabotage on here. Okay, question 8. The peatiness or smokiness in whiskey is measured in ppm, okay? ppm. What I want to know is, so that's a scale for measuring smokiness or peatiness of whiskey. What I want to know is, what does ppm stand for? What does ppm stand for? All right, good. What's that you put there? Simon Walker, Scotch Tropical Cream. Because it is pretty tropical, actually, I think, with the banana in there. Cheryl was saying, sorry, forgot to say it is amazing. And it is. And I'd like to take all the credit for that. But the reason why it's amazing, I have to say, oh, it's gone now. Where have I put it? Is our Coco Lopez. Coco Lopez. You know, if you're a lover of cocktails, I know it's kind of pricey. By the way, if you're in the USA, I think it's going to be much cheaper for you to buy because it doesn't have to come anywhere near as far to you guys. So you can probably pick it up much cheaper. Why are you blushing? Stop asking questions. That's me saying that to Cheryl. Okay, so that was question 8. The peatiness or smokiness of whiskey is measured in ppm. What does that stand for? And question 9 is this. I want to know, what do Auchentoshan Scotch whiskey and Redbreast Irish whiskey have in common? So what do Auchentoshan Scotch whiskey and Redbreast Irish whiskey have in common? That's question number 9. All right. Let me put this to the side. So our next cocktail is going to be our Mix With Me cocktail. I don't know how many of you do this. I think it's just a few of you. But nevertheless, I still quite like doing this. I mean, it doesn't actually make a huge amount of difference to me because I'm going to make a cocktail for you anyway. But it's kind of good fun if you guys are mixing along with me if you can. Now, there's a slight issue here. And that is that I didn't give you all the ingredients to give to go with this. I realised at the very last minute that I'd left one out, but it doesn't actually matter. Bruce, what are you saying? I bet she changed ppm to ppm. Well, Bruce, she didn't do that. But you're certainly in the right track with her mind. You're starting to get a handle on what she's doing. To me. So the ingredients we need for this evening are whiskey, obviously. I said an orange. I said some pastis. So pastis can be. I don't really mind how you go there. So pastis is an aniseed liqueur. So whether it's something like Pernod or Ricard, whether you have absinthe, whether you use ouzo or raki or any of those, then hopefully if you've got some, we don't need much, we really don't need much, but hopefully you've got some. This is my pastis here. And then some bitters, and I didn't stipulate which bitters, but I'm actually going to use a combination. I didn't want to tell you a combination because, you know, it makes it pretty difficult to get hold of. But if you've got Angostura, or you've got orange bitters, or you've got any of the other bitters that I've shown you that I use, that's fine. But also, and I left this out and I apologise, it doesn't matter if you don't put this in, because this is much more about how it affects the colour than the flavour. But I'm going to also be putting a splash, like a real small splash stroke dash of grenadine in there as well. So this cocktail I have called, let me just see what I've called it. Right. Okay, so look, what's that, Bruce? Oh, yeah, okay, so Bruce said that. So let's change this as well, but it's okay, I've got it. So I called this a, you know what, I can't even remember what I called it. I think I called it a monkey without an E, bland. And that's because it is based on an old cocktail called a monkey gland. All right, so the monkey gland is a gin-based cocktail. It was invented, we think, by the very famous Harry McElhone, who opened Harry's New York bar in Paris. But where did it get its name? Well, apparently it was named after a theory that was brought forward by a Russian doctor called Sergei Voronov. And Sergei Voronov, in the early 1920s, 1930s, I mean the early part of the 20th century, 1920s, 1930s, came up with a theory that said if you attach a monkey's testicles to the human body, it will increase your longevity. Wow. They drink too much vodka in Russia, that's all I can say. So that was his theory. So apparently that's where the name came from for this drink, the monkey glands, because of that whole monkey testicle thing. So I've called this a monkey without the E, as in the whole whiskey thing, and monkey bland. But it's not bland, it's a good cocktail. And if you've got all your ingredients together, then great. So it doesn't really matter whether you've got an orange or orange juice, as long as you've got something orange to work with. What else is going on here? Pasties, what from Greg's? Did I say pasties? Oh, pasties, pastis. Yeah, got it. Thank you for that, David. And then, yeah, you got to be vegan, brass monkeys, aha. So my new name was good. Tell them what I renamed it. Well, I'm getting heckled by my wife here. It's like having an audience with one person in it, and my wife just sitting there shouting stuff at me. Oh, by the way, I've got a different shaker on the go. It's a shaker that I got, I think about 3 or 4 months ago from Urban Bar. And it's more of an old style 3-piece shaker, because you know I use the Boston shakers all the time. But I've never used it, and it's just quite a cute design. So I thought I'd use it for this cocktail. We're going to put the monkey bland into there. There we go. So we're going to take the bottom half of our shaker, and the first thing we're going to do, obviously, if you're making this for me as well, is we are going to add our whiskey. And I want a full 50 ml of whiskey in there. So let's get that all the way up to the top of my measure. There we go, and then drop that in. Remember, we've got Old Forester 86 proof on the go season. Then I'm going to add the juice from this orange. So either take your orange, cut it in half and give it a good squeeze, or if you're using orange juice straight out of a carton or something, we're talking maybe 30, 35 ml, around that sort of area. So just let me cut this orange in half. I really love actually making cocktails using freshly squeezed orange juice. It just brings so much to the game, and it's almost unrecognizable from the the packaged stuff. You just can't compare them. So here we go. I'm just going to squeeze that very slowly, get all the juice in there. So at the moment we've got a whiskey. Oh, we've got a whiskey and orange on the go. Let's do that. That's good. And I'm going to put the other half in as well. There's a pip in there. Let's get rid of the pip. Okay. And it just about fits into my squeezer. I mean, whether you're using a juice squeezer like I am, or you're doing this on some kind of squeezer, or you can stick a spoon in and hold it in your hand and give it a crush. It all releases the juice. This is, I mean, just so fragrant. I mean, I really love freshly squeezed orange juice in cocktails. Now, the thing that made this monkey gland and our sort of whiskey version, the monkey without the E bland, are these little touches. And sometimes we think that we have to add large quantities of a lot of flavour to make something work. But in reality, we just don't. Sometimes the small touches make a difference. Now, as far as your pastis or anise is concerned, or your absinthe, if you're going to go the whole hog, is concerned, you don't need much of this. I'm going to use my bar spoon. Where's my bar spoon? Okay, over here. I'm going to use my bar spoon. If you don't have a bar spoon, you can use a teaspoon. And we're going to use the bowl of the teaspoon. And I want to measure out 5 ml. So it's just that. So I'm just going to put that in. There we go. I'm just going to drop that into our drink. A really small amount, but a really prevalent and powerful flavour. So it makes a huge difference. Right, before I go any further, who's talking? Cheryl, are you using crushed ice? No. For your information, a brass monkey is an 18th century term for the stand that held cannonballs in place on the deck of a ship. Listen, Bruce, if you know this just off the top of your head, then you've got to be some kind of walking Wikipedia. Or on the other hand, you're doing some lightning fast research. David Rose is the Old Forester, the Statesman, offering from... No. But that would be kind of cool, wouldn't it? It's not that one, David. No, it's not. Right, so what have we got in here? So we got a little bit of pastis, not pasties, and we've got our whiskey and our freshly squeezed orange. I'm going to add some bitters now, and I've got both orange and Angostura, and I'm going to put one of the orange, and then I'm going to put one of the Angostura. Now, if you are following along with me, then this is all you have got, and that's fine. You can run with this, but I'm also going to add some grenadine. Let me get the grenadine off the back of the bar here. And I'm going to just drop in a few little drops of grenadine. So again, tiny amounts, tiny amounts. This is even less than the 5 ml from the teaspoon. So if you're measuring it, I would say half a teaspoon. There we go. That's all we need. And now what we're going to do is we are going to give it a good shake. So I'm going to put some ice into our shaker. And this is a very different kind of shaking experience. This actually makes me feel much more Japanese. In Japan, the bartenders there who are very, I was going to say traditional, but it's not the word I'm looking for. They have a real style about the way they do it, a total reverence for the whole process of making cocktails. It makes me feel a little bit sort of street on this because it's wonderful to watch. I love watching Japanese bartenders. They always break these two before they put this on. So they put that on first, and then they put the cap on, and then they shake, like so. Or something like that. You can see how much this is iced up and frosted up. We're going to take the cap off, and we are now going to strain through the strainer that sits in the second part of the shaker into our glass. And look at the colour. So the colour has dropped down from the orange juice because of that tiny little bit of grenadine that I put in there. I can smell the pastis and the anise coming off at the top. Wow, looking good. Quite like that shaker actually. Put that to the side. And there we have our monkey blend. Now the last thing that we need to do is we need to give it some garnish. So I'm going to take another orange here, and I'm just going to take a large piece of the orange peel. Can you see what I'm doing there? Let's just cut that off like so. There we are. And I'm going to do two things with it. One is I'm going to hold the orange peel over the surface and just give it a little spray. And then you're going to stroke that piece of skin across the edge of the glass because the oils will stick to the glass, and you'll get both the taste and the aroma as you put your lips to the glass. And then finally, I'm just going to hang that over the edge like so. And that is our Mix With Me cocktail, the Monkey Without an E blend. Now, who did it? I've got a feeling that none of you have mixed with me tonight, but if you have mixed with me tonight, or if you are planning to take this recipe and mix it tomorrow or the day after or whenever, then as ever, please send me your photographs. As you know, I will get them together. I'll put them up on our Facebook page. And I'm even thinking of going back over the last few months and picking up all the photographs of drinks that you guys have made and putting them in a gallery on the website as well. So there you go. That is our monkey blend. Congratulations if you have made this. Right, what's going on here? Lots of in-chat between you guys and my wife. So you think that actually because my wife is now heckling me, that you can get involved in the heckling. I don't know. I just feel like everyone's turning on me now. What's going on here? Top with crushed nuts. It just sounds like a final line to a joke, I think, Paul. Hence freezing the balls off a brass monkey, says Barry. I knew you were still there, Barry. There we go. Replying to Cheryl. Cheryl's replying to herself. You're on the same wavelength as me. Gaz, beautiful colour. Gary, nice. Wow. It's all going a little bit crazy here. Right, let's put this over here. Liking that drink, by the way. Let me just have another. I think I'm just going to move this down here because it's sort of in the way, don't you think? Okay, so where are we up to? We've done our 3 cocktails. We're getting close to this competition here. I think I need to show you, yes I do, don't I? I need to show you another whiskey. So we've got the 4th whiskey in here, is Colonel E.H. Taylor's small batch. That sounds very bourbon-y to me. Is that a bourbon? I'm not sure. You tell me if you know that, right? You'll tell me if you know that. Palate on here. It's got to be a bourbon, right? We're talking corn now. More corn sweetness mixed with slight spiciness of rye and cinnamon. It's what you would want from a nice, sexy bourbon. One more whiskey in there, and one of you is going to get all 5 to send to your dad or to drink yourself. All right, last 3 questions of our Whiskey Geek of the Week competition. By the way, I've noticed that Cheryl hasn't come in again for this one, but I got to tell you that sort of pina colada inspired drink that she took just before, that had a lot of whiskey in it, right? So it had a 50 of whiskey plus the banana liqueur. She's probably, I don't know, probably singing some kind of song to herself somewhere else now. What's that? Already Richard Webster says, looks good. Everything looks good to you right now, Michael, because you won our competition. You're already thinking about the whiskey you're going to have as a prize. All right, question 10. Question 10, who's going to be our Whiskey Geek of the Week for this week? Question 10, I want to know is how large in terms of, what happened there? Oh, okay, sorry. Something very strange came up in my comments. I don't know if I told you this last week, but Facebook changed the whole format and the setting for these broadcasts, which is still a little bit confusing. E.H. Taylor, that is. You have one in the whiskey library. Really? I have one in the whiskey library and I didn't know what it was. Okay, so does that actually reveal me as a total fraud? I think so. Either that or I didn't realize it was in there. But no one, do you want to pick that? I don't know. Michael, is that what your choice is? Question 10, here we go. How large is the largest ever bottle of Scotch whisky? So I'm going to give you different sizes. This is a multiple choice. I'm going to give you different sizes in litres. So was it A, 100 litres? Was it B, 127 litres? C, 196 litres? D, 228 litres? Or E, 336 litres? Okay, A, B, C, D, or E. How big was it? You're probably going to want me to do that again. If you're lucky, Cheryl might copy that and post it up for you. Or maybe not. I'm not sure where she got the other answers from, actually. Question 11. I'd like to know, which is the oldest operating bourbon distillery? Okay, so I'm always asking questions about Scotch whisky, unless I'm talking about Jack Daniels. But we've gone a bit bourbon-y tonight. We've got the Old Forester on the go here. Got a nice question for you. Which is the oldest operating bourbon distillery? Are you ready? Is it A, Wild Turkey? Is it B, Jim Beam? Is it C, Maker's Mark? Or is it D, Old Forester? Which is the oldest bourbon distillery? A, Wild Turkey, B, Jim Beam, C, Maker's Mark, D, Old Forester. All right. And the final question of our Whiskey Geek of the Week quiz, for all you purists out there who want to get their face up on our gallery, a bottle of Baker's Pure Rye, so it's called Baker's Pure Rye, is recognized as the oldest existing bottle of whiskey. And it was distilled in what year? Okay, you ready? The oldest bottle of whiskey still in existence. What year was it distilled in? Was it A, 1802? Was it B, 1847? Was it C, 1863? Or was it D, 1888? Okay, so what year was that oldest existing bottle of whiskey distilled? Was it A, 1802, B, 1847, C, 1863, D, 1888? There you go. That is the end of our quiz for our Whiskey Geek of the Week. I'm going to show you the last bottle available in our Father's Day whiskey tasting set from Master of Malt. This is a Loch Lomond 12-year-old single malt, and very quickly I'll give you one line off the tasting notes. This is on the nose, creamy vanilla, with a touch of freshly baked apple turnover. Well, if that doesn't float your boat, then I don't know what is. Someone watching this now is going to win this. I will be sending it to you. Watch out for the question coming up in just a few moments and how to enter. All right, so what have I got here? We need to tell you... Yes, okay, so I'm going to give you the answers in a second. What you have to do is mark your own answers. Question 10. Oh, yes, Cheryl's putting up the answers. What's this? Part of the Buffalo Trace range, I believe, says Paul Musson. And I wouldn't actually question Paul Musson because he's one of our Whiskey Geeks of the Week. That is for sure. All right, I'm going to go through the answers. Each question is worth 1 point. If you got it correct, give yourself 1 point. At the end, you should have a total out of 12 and put your score up. Do not cheat. If you cheat, you are only cheating yourself. If we have a tie, I have a tie break question. Okay, here we go. So, Whiskey Geeks of the Week, all in. By the way, none of you said that you made this cocktail with me. Did any of you make the Mix With Me cocktail? Anyone? Yes, no? I'm guessing no this week. All right. Okay, question number 1, 2, and 3. They were all anagrams, and I asked you this. Cheers. Oh, by the way, someone remind me that before I go into the final question, I want to tell you something about the whiskey cocktail course that we have coming up, because of course members, you're going to be getting that course as well. So remind me. If you don't remind me, there is a good chance I'll forget to tell you. Question number 1. Okay, right. Question number 1, I said merging alone. Merging alone is an anagram of which whiskey? The answer, Glenmorangie. Glenmorangie. Merging alone, Glenmorangie. How many of you going? Of course, you can even hear it in merging alone. Question number 2, Anglo Drench. Anglo Drench is an anagram of which whiskey? I'm looking for Glendronach. Glendronach. That's question number 2. If you got that, give yourself a point. Question number 3, Ferret's Drool. Ferret's Drool is an anagram of Old Forester. Ferret's Drool, Old Forester. That's question number 3. If you got that, give yourself a point. Anyone on 3 out of 3 so far? You don't have to answer that, by the way. Question 4. So these are all to do with the Manhattan cocktail. I said to you, apart from whiskey and sweet vermouth, what goes into a Manhattan? And I don't mean the cherry, so I'm not looking for you to say a cherry goes into a Manhattan. The other thing that goes into a Manhattan is Angostura bitters, okay? Angostura bitters. If you put bitters, you can still have a point. But specifically, it's Angostura bitters. Question 5. I said, if you substitute Scotch whiskey for American whiskey in a Manhattan, what new cocktail do you have? Right, so any of you guys that are with us week in, week out will know this because I've covered it before, but the answer is a Rob Roy. So a Rob Roy is essentially a Scotch whiskey Manhattan. Bruce, what are you saying? Didn't make it, got partial to black licorice and these. Oh, okay. But thank you for telling me anyway, Bruce. You'd be surprised though, just a small amount of it in there sort of gets lost. You just get the good things from that as opposed to the stuff that you don't like. Because I'm not a big licorice fan myself, actually. Question number 6. I said the Manhattan was reputedly invented at a party held at the Manhattan Club and hosted by Jenny Jerome. But Jenny Jerome was the mother of which famous Brit? Well, Jenny Jerome was also known as Lady Randolph Churchill. And she was the mother of Winston Churchill. So if you had Winston Churchill, give yourself a point. Yay, the Manhattan cocktail and Winston Churchill. Question 7. I asked you, listen, everyone should know this. But just because I say everyone should know this doesn't mean that everyone should know this. But I'm guessing that most of you got this right. Question 7. What is the predominant grain used in the production of Scotch whisky? Any ideas? The predominant grain used in the production of Scotch whisky? Well, It's barley. Barley is what we are looking for. What we're saying here, Michael Nolan. I have to say cocktails for the weekend. Now I get that. Actually, I don't get that because cocktails are kind of my life, really, business, and so cocktails for me are any day of the week. But I get that. I know what you're saying. Question number 8. Wow, I nearly said that as well. I nearly got caught second time around. Okay. The peatiness or smokiness in whiskey is measured in ppm. What does that stand for? ppm. So I am looking for phenol parts per million. Phenol parts per million. Or if you're really going to be specific about it, it's the phenol count in parts per million. So phenol parts per million. Point if you got that. Question 9. I said, what do Auchentoshan Scotch whisky and Redbreast Irish whisky have in common? And what they have in common is that they are both triple distilled. They're both triple distilled. Bruce said, Michael doesn't drink for a living, evidently. Yeah, Michael, what's wrong with you? I thought everyone on here just drank for a living. Yeah. But Michael's all right. Michael's won the whiskey competition. He's already thinking about how he's going to drink that. Question 10, here we go. I said, how large is the largest ever bottle of Scotch whisky? I said, is it A, 100 litres? Is it 127? Is it 196? Is it 228? Or is it 336 litres? The answer is D. The answer is D, 228 litres. Apparently it was about 5.5 to 6 foot tall, or it is 5.5 to 6 foot tall. 228 litres of whiskey. And the whiskey, famous grouse actually, but you didn't have to say famous grouse. But the largest bottle is D, and a point if you've got that right. Question 11. I asked you, what is the oldest operating bourbon distillery? It's A, Wild Turkey, B, Jim Beam, C, Maker's Mark, or D, Old Forester. Well, it is C, Maker's Mark. Maker's Mark is the oldest bourbon distillery in the United States of America. Apparently 1805, so more than 200 years old. And it's also been declared, by the way, as a National Historic Landmark. There you go. All right, question 11 done. If you got that, you get a point. And question 12, the last one was, David has put, the world's biggest bottle of single malt whiskey has sold at auction for £15,000. 105 litre bottle of 14-year-old Tomintoul is nearly 1.5 metre and weighs. Yeah, that might have been the case, David, when that sold. But the largest in terms of litres was this this famous grouse, 220. If you put in, because I know you like to fact check my questions, if you stick in largest bottle of whiskey, famous grouse, you'll see this one at 228 litres. All right, last one. Yeah, I said a bottle of Baker's Pure Rye is the oldest existing bottle of whiskey and was distilled in which year? I gave you 1802, 1847, 1863 and 1888. The answer is B, 1847. B, 1847. And they think that it was either from Maryland or Pennsylvania. So if you got that, give yourself a point. What I'd like you to do now is total up your points and give me your score out of 12. If you are the clear winner, you are our Whiskey Geek of the Week for this week. If you are not the clear winner and you are tied with someone else, I have a tie break question here. Okay, so while you are doing that, don't forget to pop your scores in the comments box. What's this? Wow, we can have a fabulous party with that. That is for sure. That is for sure. I'm going to give you the question now. So you can answer this question to win this. Let's pick it up here. This little box here of these whiskies, which by the way, I will package up nicely again for you, and I will send this out to you. And it is the Master of Malt Father's Day Whiskey Tasting Set. All 5 that we have touched on this evening, you will get that. What we're going to do is this. Now, originally, I had thought that I will simply ask a question, which I'm going to do anyway, and the first person to answer live will win it. But we have discovered something about these Facebook Live broadcasts, and that is that different people receive it at different times. In other words, you, whoever you are, let's say you is Cheryl, watching me from over there somewhere, you might be seeing it now, and somebody else might be hearing me say now 5 seconds later, which means that some people have an advantage over other people. So to make it fair, what I've done is this. I've put a link in the description, and the link is to a little competition panel. And it's like the whiskey competition panels that we do every week, but there's one single question there. And what you have to do is you have to answer this question. If you answer this question correctly, then you will go into a draw. Now, I am running this competition up until midnight tonight UK time, which is less than 4 hours away. So it means that you have a chance to get in and answer in time for that. So you can even go back and try and work it out or whatever. But I thought that would be the fairest way of doing it with all you guys. All you have to do is click the link and go there. Obviously be a member, and that will get you in, and good luck. So the question is this, and it's a really simple question. Actually, what's going on? Let's look at these scores coming in. No, I'll look at the scores in a second. Right, so the question is this. If you want to win this Father's Day whiskey tasting set for your father, or actually, don't worry about your father, just drink it yourself because you are a father, or you might be a father, or actually, even if you're not a father, then answer this question. If you added all 5 tasting bottles together from this set, I would like to know how much whiskey would you have in mil? How many mil of whiskey? How many milliliters of whiskey would you have in this entire set? So 5 bottles in there. How much whiskey would you have? That's it. So you can click on the link at the end of this. You've got 3 or 4 hours to do it, but it will shut at midnight tonight. If you're a second late, you're too late. So get your answer in. Every single correct answer will go into the draw, and I will announce it first thing tomorrow morning UK time. I will put it on the Facebook page, and I will announce it there, okay, for our winner. What else have we got here? Don't forget, only one of you is going to win this, but if you really like the idea of the set, Master and Malt are offering it at a discount right now, and I put that link in the description as well. So, you know, even if you want to buy it for yourself, you can get it for under £20, which is a pretty good deal. All right, let's see what the scores are in this competition. Kaz has got 10, Barry 10, but one was a guess. Barry, doesn't matter whether it's a guess or not, you know, it's a correct answer. Kevin 9, Simon 6, Raymond 10, so we've got 3 at 10. Matt is 9, Paul is 7, Dave 5, Kieran 6, Paul Masson 9, David Rose 9, last 3 caught me out. Ah, God, I feel like I've achieved something by catching David Rose out. Gary, 4, outstanding. Gary, someone's got to get 4, so no problem. What's this? Michael Nolan, I feel embarrassed I got them all. Almost threw me with that surplus R in Old Forester. Okay, so Michael, you saying you got 12? Because if you got 12, you're in again. Simon, well done. Everyone's saying well done to Michael. Yeah, sad, isn't it? Okay. Dave, what's the 150? No, Dave, Dave, not there. You got to go to our website. You got to click the link. I think that's your answer. I'm not saying it's correct or not, but not here. You got to go to our website. Click the link in the description and you put your answers in there. Mike, even. Okay. Yeah, largest whiskey, not largest malt whiskey. Must listen more closely. Right, okay, I see what you mean. Yeah, okay, that's cool. And Lubka, hello, all, wishing you a nice evening. Lubka, you've missed us. You've missed us, Lubka. We're right at the end. Maybe we got the timings wrong for you, but yeah, we're right at the end. Look, I think we've done everything this evening. I need to declare our Whiskey Geek of the Week, and it looks like very clearly our Whiskey Geek of the Week this week. For the 3rd time, I have to say. I mean, he's sweeping up, right? He won the whiskey competition from last week, which ended last night, and so he's got himself a fabulous bottle of whiskey on the way to him this week. Plus, he looks like he's become our first 3-time Whiskey Geek of the Week. You know how it works, Michael. You've got to send me a picture. Just make it different to the other pictures. Otherwise, people are going to think that it's not a Whiskey Geek gallery. They're just going to think it's a gallery of you. So get that picture over to me. Congratulations on you getting all 12. Thank you all for joining us as you always do. It's absolutely fantastic. Always great to see you here. I hope you're doing well with this whole sort of COVID thing. I know that we're starting to find our way out of it now, which has got to be great news for everyone. Let me know if you've got cocktails, if you make this tonight, which I don't think anyone has. But if any of you do it over the next few days, then please send me your photographs. What else do I need to tell you? That's it. I will announce the winner of this competition from Master of Malt. First thing tomorrow morning UK time, so I don't know, that's about 12, 14 hours from now. So look out on the Facebook page for that if you're in the States. Look out if you're in the UK as well, or wherever you are. And make sure you have a good week. And you know what's going to happen this time next week. Same thing, same place. Be here. Have a great week. Stay safe. And thank you for joining us. See you soon.